The story begins with Paco, a YouTuber, celebrating reaching 700,000 subscribers during a live stream. Woo Jihyeok, a beauty YouTuber, joins him, and they use Hobin as a model for Woo's makeup tips. Hobin, who hates these YouTubers, is frustrated because he isn't getting paid for his humiliation. Paco offers a fake PC giveaway during the stream, and Hobin forces a smile as it ends. Hobin is upset at school, feeling overshadowed by Paco, who's rich despite poor grades, and Woo, who lives off her looks. Snapper, Paco's cameraman, criticizes Hobin for not smiling during the stream and mocks him along with others. Hobin is upset but doesn't fight back, feeling trapped at the bottom of the school's social ladder. Woo is thrilled to make $200 from the stream, which frustrates Hobin even more since he earns so little from his part-time job. Snapper suggests Hobin use his sick mother's bank account to earn money from YouTuber, which further humiliates him. Hobin visits his mom in the hospital, hiding his troubles to avoid worrying her. He pays $200 for her treatment, which is a week's pay from his job. While frustrated by his situation, Hobin finds comfort in his co-worker, Bomi, who makes him happy. Paco visits the restaurant to livestream and challenges Bomi to make a complex burger in 30 seconds, clearly trying to get her phone number. Hobin makes the burger himself and adds an extra patty, forcing Paco to leave. Though Hobin knows he'll likely be beaten up at school for this, he feels a small victory, even catching Bomi's attention. Not gonna lie, Hobin is one thirsty man.
Or maybe he's just another guy dreaming big, thinking he has a shot with a girl who's way out of his league.
At home, Hobin reflects on his spinelessness, allowing Snapper to stream from his house and use his mom's bank account. He's disappointed in himself, especially as he hears Snapper easily making $200 from a gaming challenge. Hobin spitefully spits in the ramen, but accidentally trips over a cord, spilling the hot noodles on Snapper and disconnecting the live stream. Snapper is furious, losing out on $200, and blames Hobin, who fights back for the first time, punching Snapper in the face. They brawl, not realizing the camera is still streaming. The fight is broadcast live, and Hobin later discovers the video went viral, gaining over 10 million views and potentially earning over $6 grand. At school, Snapper realizes everyone has seen the fight video, and he's now the laughingstock. He tries to bully someone to reassert his dominance, but it backfires, and he gets beaten up. Snapper blames Hobin and demands half the money from the video. They fight again, but Hobin refuses to give him any money. Snapper then reveals he recorded their second fight, but Hobin isn't worried, knowing that people would dismiss it as staged content. Instead of fighting more, Snapper proposes a partnership, offering to be Hobin's producer and help him make even more money. Snapper claims his skills as Paco's former producer are what made Paco successful. Hobin, however, is cautious and rejects Snapper's initial offer of a revenue split in Snapper's favor. After some negotiation, Hobin agrees to a deal where he keeps 90% of the earnings, while Snapper gets 10%. Snapper, frustrated that Hobin isn't as naive as he thought, reveals their next content idea, exposing school bullies in real time. Hobin and Snapper join Paco's live stream as the bullied boys, but secretly plan to expose Paco. During the stream, Hobin accuses Paco of scamming his viewers with fake giveaways and being a jerk in real life, showing bruises as proof. He announces that he will upload all of Paco's bad deeds on his channel, knowing he'll face consequences, but wanting to profit from it. Paco, frustrated, ends his stream due to a dead phone battery and begins beating Hobin. However, Snapper secretly live streams the entire beatdown to 33,000 viewers, gaining many subscribers. As Hobin is beaten, he realizes that simply getting bullied might not be the key to making big money. He understands that viewers might prefer seeing a bullied kid stand up to his bully. Despite this, Hobin's overwhelmed by Paco, who is much larger and stronger. Paco mocks Hobin, even blaming him for his mother's cancer, which enrages Hobin. Looks like Hobin just found out that getting rich quick isn't as easy as racking up punches like their bonus points in a video game.
And here I was, thinking the secret to success was standing up to bullies, not signing up for free beatdowns and a side of emotional trauma.
Hobin attacks but fails to move Paco, who then threatens to hospitalize him. Just as things look bleak, a student named Kim, an MMA rising star, intervenes, scaring Paco off with just a few words. Hobin is amazed by Kim's power and influence. Although Hobin lost the fight, he and Snapper gained fans who left encouraging comments. Later, Paco discovers that the video of him beating up Hobin has gone viral, damaging his reputation. He tries to apologize in a stream, but accidentally reveals his disdain for his viewers, making things worse. People start exposing Paco's staged videos, and his subscriber count plummets while Hobin's popularity rises. Snapper suggests their new content should focus on fights, but they face a challenge. YouTube pays based on ad revenue, and videos need to be at least 3 minutes long. Hobin struggles with the fact that he can't last more than a minute in a fight. Desperate to improve, Hobin looks up ways to get better at fighting, but all the solutions, like martial arts training, seem too difficult or time-consuming. Hobin accidentally discovers a channel called How to Fight, run by a strange bird-faced guy named Samdak. Samdak's videos teach techniques to win fights, including staying calm and using the opponent's anger against them. Hobin is skeptical, but intrigued. The next day, he quits his job to focus on making money through YouTube. At work, Bomi surprises everyone by asking for Hobin's number, which he uses to text her in class. Snapper reminds Hobin of their growing fame and the need to figure out how to extend their fight videos to 3 minutes for ad revenue. Rumi, another student, asks Hobin to do a live stream with her, and despite initial hesitation, Hobin agrees, excited by the attention. Suddenly, Pago arrives, furious at Hobin for ruining his new channel. Remembering Samdak's advice, Hobin stays calm as Paco gets worked up. Before Paco can attack, Snapper reveals he is recording, forcing Paco to back off. Hobin is amazed that Samdak's advice actually worked. Later, Hobin realizes how challenging it is to maintain a fight-based channel. Instead of focusing on solutions, he texts Bomi, who hints she wants to talk on the phone instead of texting. However, Hobin's joy is interrupted when some thugs approach him, pretending to be fans but actually intending to rob him. Snapper tries to help but gets knocked out easily. The thugs steal Hobin's phone, which has Bomi's number, leaving Hobin desperate. Snapper, always thinking about content, reveals he live-streamed the mugging, and their fans are cheering for Hobin to get revenge. The thugs are well known in the area, and Snapper believes confronting them will bring in a lot of views. Though Hobin fears it might just lead to another beating, he decides to start a live stream. Hobin recalls a video from Samdak that teaches how to identify an opponent's dominant hand and use it to his advantage. Realizing his opponent is right-handed, Hobin positions himself on the left side, making it harder for the thug to punch him effectively. Hobin tries Samdak's technique of getting hit without getting hurt, which involves moving into a punch before it gains full power. To his surprise, Hobin isn't hurt at all. Samdak's teachings continue to guide Hobin as he avoids punches by weaving, making it difficult for the thug to land a hit. This strategy not only helps Hobin avoid getting hurt, but also frustrates his opponent, causing him to miss even more. As the thug continues to attack, Hobin's confidence grows, but he wishes he had watched more of Samdak's videos for additional techniques. Meanwhile, Snapper worries that the fight is dragging on too long and that viewers might lose interest. However, a viewer named Ding, who seems knowledgeable about martial arts, comments that Hobin will win. Ding explains that the thug's fists are in trouble from repeatedly hitting Hobin's hard forehead. As predicted, the thug's fists swell up, and the pain becomes unbearable, forcing him to stop. Hobin surprisingly wins the fight, though his face is bruised. Snapper worries about hospital bills, but the victory brings them a significant boost in followers. The video from the live stream garners over 1 million views in a week, and their channel, Viral Hit, now has 4 videos with a total of 25 million views. Their first payout amounts to just under $113,000, which excites Hobin despite the low earnings per view. Snapper cautions Hobin about the dangers of receiving a yellow mark on their videos, which would mean demonetization due to violent content. The two spot Rumi, who seems interested in their viewers, and they quickly move away. Hobin gets distracted by an expensive tracksuit, but realizes it costs almost $1,000, more than he can afford. Despite their success, Hobin remains focused on making money, driven by the need to support his mother and maintain their channel's growth. Hobin is shocked when Snapper buys a ridiculously expensive suit, considering it a basic necessity. No way! Hobin's out here hustling for his channel's growth, while Snapper's over here thinking that a luxury suit is the new cool.
Nothing says basic necessity like a luxurious suit. Priorities, Snapper, priorities.
Snapper even suggests that Hobin buy one too, but Hobin initially decides to be responsible and pass on the purchase. However, when Bomi texts him asking to meet up, Hobin impulsively buys the suit to impress her. As Hobin arrives at the meeting spot, people around him gossip about his sudden fame and wealth, assuming the suit is fake. Though hurt by their comments, Hobin finds comfort in his livestream viewers who support him. During the meetup, a popular YouTuber named Jiwoon is conducting street interviews and mistakes Bomi for a random girl. However, Bomi surprises everyone by revealing that she's there to meet Hobin, and she's also wearing the same expensive suit. Hobin reflects on his past, feeling inferior to popular kids like Kim and bullied by Paco, but now he feels validated by Bomi's attention. When their hands accidentally touch, Hobin daydreams about a future with Bomi, only to snap back to reality and feel foolish. Despite the moment, he overhears people commenting on how mismatched they look because of his shorter height, making Hobin insecure. He becomes distant and gives short answers to Bomi's questions, thinking she's embarrassed to be with him. Bomi becomes disappointed with Hobin's lack of engagement, but Hobin eventually opens up, admitting his insecurities and explaining his awkward behavior. Bomi appreciates his honesty and they continue their date. However, Hobin's confidence is shattered when Bomi mentions that her old friend Kim, the guy Hobin admires and feels inferior to, attends their school. In a panic, Hobin lies to Bomi, claiming that he and Kim are good friends just to impress her. Unfortunately, his lie backfires when Kim appears, and Bomi excitedly asks Kim if they are really friends. Hobin is filled with regret, realizing that he made a huge mistake and fears how Bomi will react when she discovers the truth. Hobin breaks an unwritten rule among losers by pretending to be friends with Kim, just to impress Bomi. He expects Kim to expose his lie, but to his surprise, Kim simply says they're classmates and calls them Samisis because of their matching suits. Hobin feels relieved but also frustrated that this small victory makes him so happy. Feeling like a third wheel, Hobin fakes an injury and leaves, despite Snapper broadcasting everything. Snapper tries to encourage Hobin, telling him that love is like a battle and that Bomi is clearly interested in him. He urges Hobin to confess his feelings, and Hobin, motivated by Snapper's words, decides to go back to Bomi. Hobin returns, but before he can confess, Kim offers to help with his fake injury and then leaves for practice. Hobin realizes that Kim and Bomi aren't on a date, and he gets discouraged for no reason. Surprisingly, Kim compliments Hobin on his fighting skills, mentioning that he noticed Hobin's strategy in a previous fight. Kim hints at a next move, but Hobin is clueless about what he means. Hobin finally gathers the courage to ask Bomi what her ideal person is, and she replies that she values honesty. Hobin decides to be honest with her about his feelings, but struggles to express himself. Before he can confess, he exposes Snapper for trying to broadcast the moment, only to find that Snapper has been beaten up by Paco, who's back for revenge. Paco, angry and humiliated, confronts Bomi, insulting her for rejecting him. Hobin tries to stay calm, remembering the Chicken Man's advice that the angrier opponent is easier to defeat. He provokes Paco into attacking, planning to use the technique in which he gets punched without getting hurt. However, Paco surprises him with an uppercut, having watched Hobin's previous fight video and learned his moves. Hobin is now getting beaten up, regretting not watching more of the Samdax videos. He recalls Kim's hint about the next move, but can't remember what it is. As he takes the beating, Hobin reflects on his life, realizing how far he's come since learning to fight and make money. Despite his progress, he now faces a tough challenge, unsure of how to overcome it. My guy Hobin's definitely wishing he hit the replay button on Samdax videos instead of the pause button.
All that progress, and now Hobin's stuck on the final boss with no cheat codes.
Meanwhile, Paco, who is determined to make Hobin look foolish, starts beating him up while forcing Snapper to broadcast it live on his channel. Hobin, worried about Bomi seeing him like this, asks Paco to let her go home. Despite his pleading, Paco continues to humiliate him, even making him strip to make him look more pathetic. Paco reveals that he's broadcasting everything on his channel, aiming to ruin Hobin's reputation. Hobin decides to take drastic measures to protect Bomi, planning to remove his boxers to avoid further embarrassment. Paco is terrified of the consequences of broadcasting such an act and begs Hobin to stop. Just then, Kim arrives and quickly defeats Paco and his gang, saving Hobin. Hobin feels deeply ashamed and is unable to lift his head in front of Bomi. He reflects on his life, tracing his sense of worthlessness back to when his father left and how things worsened with Paco's bullying. Hobin sobs as he feels like a failure, while Snapper, who is still streaming, apologizes for not being able to protect him. Back at school, Snapper continues his live streams and Paco continues to bully him. Snapper encourages Hobin to stay safe and not come to school, but Hobin decides to return. He arrives at school, surprising Snapper, and starts his own live stream titled How to Fight and Beat a Regular Person. Hobin is determined to change and improve after getting inspired by Samdax's videos, and this surprises Paco greatly, wondering what this guy is saying. Next up, we got Rumi getting congratulated for reaching 100,000 subscribers. The day before, Snapper betrays Hobin by denying their friendship and sucking up to Paco. He calls Hobin a loser and offers to be Paco's producer. Paco, angry at Snapper's betrayal, beats him up and questions his shameful behavior. Snapper admits that he sucks up to those stronger than him because he can't fight or get good grades. With no real friends, he resorts to this to survive. Despite his situation, Snapper helps Paco, who plans to use Hobin's return to boost his new channel to 1 million subscribers. Snapper reluctantly agrees to get Hobin back, hoping to survive himself. Snapper goes to Hobin's house to persuade him to return to school, but is unsuccessful. Paco is furious with Snapper for failing and threatens him, but Snapper turns against Paco during a live stream. He tells Hobin not to come to school and reveals that Paco will get $300 for hurting him. Paco, enraged, punches Snapper for this betrayal. Snapper's change of heart is finally revealed. Hobin's mother had told him that Hobin considered Snapper a friend and was glad to have him in class. This makes Snapper realize he can't betray Hobin. Back at school, Hobin returns despite Snapper's pleas to stay away. Hobin plans to show off his fighting skills in a live stream titled How to Fight and Beat a Regular Person. Hobin's like, why skip school when you can turn it into a live action fight club?
Who knows, maybe that fight club will turn into a humiliation club for Hobin.
Snapper notices that Hobin has a speech written on his hand. Hobin begins with his get hit without getting hurt technique, but Paco, knowing it doesn't work on him, prepares to use an uppercut. A flashback to a month earlier shows Hobin's realization of his overconfidence after his failure. He questions his worth and feels he can never face Bomi or his viewers again. However, Hobin decides to use the secret channel to improve. He starts learning from Samdak's second lesson on fighting, focusing on building his body and willpower. Despite struggles like vomiting from a raw meat protein shake, Hobin remains dedicated. Samdak's lesson emphasizes that new fighters must build strength to withstand attacks. Hobin uses his willpower to continue despite financial constraints, determined to change and improve. Samdak teaches Hobin that to avoid getting fat, he must exercise as well. The third essential is stamina, which Hobin can build by swimming. Samdak also recommends a technique to boost metabolism, swimming with fists balled up. Despite his exhaustion, Hobin remains determined. Samdak also mentions the importance of technique and prepares to reveal a special move. Samdak explains that for brawling, the best martial art is not boxing. He shares a champion martial artist's answer, which is a single skill. Hobin is eager to learn the secret. Samdak demonstrates a stance with weight on the front foot and tension released from the back foot, and then teaches Hobin a low kick. Over the past month, Hobin has practiced this low kick 10,000 times, but Paco laughs it off, pointing out that Hobin should have aimed for the thigh. Snapper, however, realizes that Hobin actually executed a more advanced move, the calf kick, which deals instant damage. Kim recognizes the move and is impressed, suggesting Hobin has improved significantly. Hobin also knows that running away is crucial if the opponent is larger, so he keeps his distance from Paco. When Hobin spots an opportunity, he uses the calf kick again. Despite the impressive execution, Paco sees that Hobin has only mastered one move and declares it won't work anymore. Samdak had taught another move, but Paco anticipated the calf kick. As Paco focuses on the calf kick, Hobin uses his new skill, the overhand hook, developed from his swimming practice. This powerful punch knocks Paco out, and Hobin wins the fight. Snapper, now a true friend, protects Hobin from Paco's friends and vows to stand by him. Hobin's victory boosts his channel, which grows rapidly. He thanks his subscribers and gives his mom a gift, pretending it wasn't expensive. Hobin learns from his mom that the friend who visited was Kim, not Snapper. Later, Snapper is surprised but continues to fight with Hobin. Despite Snapper's flaws, Hobin now considers him a true friend. Snapper suggests that Hobin hire a professional editor to improve their channel, thinking it will help grow their audience. Instead of posting a job listing, Snapper decides to ask their viewers for volunteers. Although many comments are doubtful, Ding, an old guy who comments on fights, offers his editing experience. Snapper is skeptical because Ding is middle-aged, but Hobin is willing to give him a chance. The next day, Ding arrives for the interview, but to their surprise, Ding is actually a girl named Ghoul. Despite her youthful appearance, she talks like an old man and scolds them for their shock. Snapper daydreams about Ghoul, imagining a domestic scene where Ghoul is his wife and he surprises her with flowers. However, his daydream is interrupted by his dog named Hobin. Snapper snaps back to reality and is embarrassed by his own imagination. Ghoul's editing skills impress Hobin and Snapper, with her video incorporating funny viewer comments. Hobin is initially hesitant about hiring her, but agrees after Ghoul mentions some sensitive content that needs editing, including embarrassing footage. Ghoul reveals she is a fan of Hobin's channel and is eager to work with them. Meanwhile, Bomi notices the announcement about Viral Hit's new editor and feels hurt that Hobin has not contacted her or answered her calls. Nearby, Bomi finds a group of beaten-up kids, and one of them is more concerned about his arcade game being interrupted than the fight. Back at Hobin's house, Snapper talks about Tahun, a former Max MMA fighter known for his aggressive style and bad reputation. Tahun was kicked out of the league for causing problems and is rumored to have hit everyone in his high school. To be fair, Tahun sounds like the kind of guy who is hated by everyone.
Or maybe Tahun just thinks he needs to show his aggressiveness to assert dominance. Later, Snapper dismisses Taekwondo as weak, believing that sweeping the legs can counter it. Gale disagrees, explaining that while the sport Taekwondo is focused on points and time limits, combat Taekwondo is designed for knockouts and is much more effective in real fights. This correction from Guile highlights the depth of Taekwondo beyond Snapper's simplistic view. Guile demonstrates the power of Taekwondo by showing how an expert's kick can reach speeds of 220 kilometers per hour and generate over 1,000 kilograms of force. Snapper reveals that Tahun, a former Max MMA fighter known as the Devil of Gangbuk High, will be Hobin's next opponent. Tahun is notorious for his brutal tactics and for taking victims' friends as hostages, causing deep psychological damage. Hobin is terrified at the thought of fighting someone so dangerous and wishes he could stick to easier content like eating challenges. Snapper emphasizes that Hobin promised his viewers to fight bullies, but Hobin argues that Tahun is a professional fighter, not a regular thug. Gayul, eager to fight fight a bully, volunteers to take on Tahun herself, but Hobin lacks motivation since they have never met. Tahun is seen in a different setting, where he brutally attacks thugs and extorts money from them, demonstrating his psychopathic behavior. Snapper films Tahun's actions and is horrified by his extreme violence. He decides they should avoid confronting Tahun, but is terrified when Tahun notices him. Hobin, realizing that Tahun could find them dangerous, appreciates Snapper's smooth-talking skills to defuse the situation. Tahun recognizes Hobin's group from the viral hit channel and demands Hobin's channel, having heard about their success. Later, when Tahun beats up Snapper and demands money, Hobin is shocked and unsure how to respond. Tahun continues to assault Snapper, intensifying the situation. Hobin is left in a difficult position, realizing that he must decide whether to fight Tahun or find another way to handle the threat, especially as Tahun's demands and violent actions put them all at risk. Hobin is stunned by Tahun's violence and his demand for the channel. Tahun's intimidation and aura make Hobin feel helpless and certain that his current fighting skills won't be enough. Despite his fear, Hobin agrees to give Tahun the channel to avoid further violence. Tahun slaps Hobin and demands the channel immediately, but Hobin explains he just wants the beatings to stop. Snapper, who has cracked ribs from Tahun's attack, is furious but impressed by Hobin's courage. He admits that Hobin's fight with Paco inspired him to show bravery, even if it meant getting hurt. Gale visits Snapper, who tries to stay positive but later breaks down, feeling embarrassed and weak. Hearing Snapper's sobs, Hobin relates this moment to his own struggle in front of Bomi. At the arcade, Hobin challenges Tahun to a fight and, surprisingly, beats him without getting hit. Hobin reveals he's live streaming and proposes that Tahun can only get the channel if he beats Hobin in a fight 1 month from now. Tahun, enraged, agrees to the challenge after destroying the arcade game. Gael is upset and promises to fight Tahun if he hurts Hobin, while Snapper is confused about Hobin's change of heart. Hobin begins preparing for the fight by watching Samdak's video on defeating Taekwondo fighters. Samdak explains that a regular person would typically have no chance against a professional Taekwondo fighter due to their powerful kicks and footwork. However, Samdak introduces a strategy to fight in an environment where Taekwondo's footwork and kicks are ineffective. Samdak's lesson emphasizes that while Taekwondo is strong in a traditional setting, a brawl outside the ring with a surface that hinders kicking could level the playing field.
There's just no way that a loser like Hobin can do all this.
Oh, Ken, you just wait and watch. Hobin's determination grows as he prepares for this unconventional approach, ready to face Tahun and prove that he can overcome the odds. Hobin plans to fight Tahun on a rainy day to take advantage of a slippery surface that would hinder Tahun's kicking abilities. Following Samdak's advice, Hobin trains hard, focusing on calf kicks, overhand hooks, and building core strength. Samdak emphasizes that a normal person's chance of beating a professional fighter is only 5%, but suggests that adding a tackle could raise the odds to 40%. To train for this, Hobin uses water resistance exercises and practices hanging from bars to build stamina. As the fight day approaches, Hobin's friends are surprised to see him hanging from a bar and training obsessively. Snapper starts streaming Hobin's training, and Gale helps by kicking Hobin in the stomach to increase the effectiveness of his sit-ups. Despite his efforts, Hobin feels doubtful, but remains hopeful that the rainy weather and the slippery alley will help him. However, Snapper reveals that the weather forecast has been incorrect for 2 weeks, and no rain is expected. Hobin is devastated as his plan relies on a slippery surface. He decides to quit and run away, fearing that without rain, his strategy is useless. Tahun, who is watching, expects to get the channel and is excited about the prospect of becoming rich. Just then, Hobin splashes Tahun with water from a hose, creating his own slippery surface. This unexpected move is based on Samdak's advice to get Tahun worked up and neutralize his kicks. Hobin's strategy seems effective, but Tahun, a skilled Taekwondo fighter and former MMA pro, quickly adapts and strikes Hobin in the face. Tahun's attack is powerful enough to make Hobin's vision go white, leaving him disoriented. Despite Hobin's efforts, Tahun begins to slap him around. Hobin, still reeling, wonders if Tahun's strike was a punch. Snapper is disappointed, feeling that Hobin's plan to just use water to counter Tahun's kicks isn't working. However, Hobin surprises everyone by landing a powerful calf kick, thanks to his water shoes, which prevent slipping. The viewers realize that Hobin's shoes are the key to his effectiveness in the slippery conditions. Hobin feels intense pain, but decides to keep fighting. Snapper reminds him to hold on for 3 minutes to insert ads into the video, which gives Hobin a renewed sense of determination. Hobin struggles against Tahun, who seems to move quickly despite the slippery floor. Hobin is surprised by Tahun's footwork and realizes he can't even run away. Tahun is dominating the fight, and Hobin notices how crucial footwork is. Even though Hobin has been training hard and using his calf kicks, Tahun's skills and speed overwhelm him. Hobin is exhausted and has been taking hits, but he decides to use another calf kick. Snapper, worried about Hobin shouting his move names, starts to think there might be a strategy behind it. He remembers how Hobin used a similar tactic against Paco. Hobin uses the announcement of the calf kick to distract Tahun, and then applies the tackle he learned from Samdak. Samdak's advice emphasized the importance of grabbing behind the knees for a successful tackle, and Hobin uses the double leg tackle to bring Tahun down. Samdak had also taught Hobin the cross choke, which applies pressure to the carotid artery and can make an opponent blackout in 10 seconds. As Hobin attempts the choke, Tahun points out that Hobin's legs aren't correctly positioned. Tahun reveals that he let Hobin take him down on purpose and criticizes Hobin for being too impatient and not sticking to the basics. Hobin gets thrown into a urinal, and Tahun, now wearing one of Hobin's water shoes, prepares to use his kicks. Samdak had warned that taekwondo kicks are extremely powerful, like a truck hitting someone. Tahun, with Hobin's water shoe on his foot, declares he can finally use his kicks effectively. Meanwhile, Bomi, who had been ignoring the fight, becomes interested when she sees Hobin land a tackle and cross choke. Kim tries to explain that Hobin didn't win, and Bomi is upset when the stream is turned off. Snapper tries to encourage Hobin, who feels disheartened, thinking all his training was for nothing. Hobin apologizes to his viewers, believing he can't win. However, Snapper reminds him about the financial stakes, and Hobin gains renewed motivation from his viewers' support. Hobin recalls Samdak's lesson that taekwondo fighters need both feet to unleash their full power. Since Tahun is wearing a water shoe on one foot, Hobin realizes Tahun will likely kick with his other foot. This gives Hobin a sliver of confidence as he prepares for the next round, knowing he needs to tackle Tahun again. Hobin struggles against Tahun, feeling hazy and unable to breathe. Tahun easily counters Hobin's attacks, including his trusty calf kick, and then stomps on Hobin's dominant foot. Tahun, showing off his advanced taekwondo skills, uses his back kick to defeat Hobin. Tahun says Hobin is lucky to be alive since he went easy on him, and that Hobin probably has broken ribs. He prepares to take over Hobin's channel, and Snapper begs him to stop. Tahun is surprised when he realizes Snapper is actually pleading for Hobin to stop fighting. Hobin, barely conscious, recalls Samdak's teachings about taekwondo back kicks and his own strategy to control the environment. Hobin is determined to fight on, despite Snapper's fears for his safety. He tells his viewers to stay tuned and, remembering the need to fight in a narrow space to restrict Tahun's kicks, Hobin stands in a bathroom stall to make the area even narrower. As Tahun attempts a back kick, Hobin evades it and manages to tackle Tahun to the ground again.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Yes, indeed, Ken. Using the core strength he built up, Hobin performs a baseball choke, a technique Samdak taught him. This move, which puts pressure on the carotid artery, is effective, and Tahun taps out, admitting defeat. The choke is so humiliating that it reminds Tahun of his first significant loss. Snapper is excited but shocked when Hobin doesn't stop even after Tahun taps out. Hobin is too focused on the choke to hear Snapper's pleas to stop. Adrenaline has taken over, and Hobin continues until he counts to 10, following Samdak's advice to never let his guard down in a street fight. He finally releases Tahun, who remains unconscious. Viewers are stunned by the outcome, and it's revealed that Tahun previously lost to a baseball choke in a tournament. Kim had defeated him then. When Tahun wakes up, he sees Hobin and Snapper discussing whether to leave him in the restroom. Tahun, annoyed but defeated, tells Hobin to keep his channel and warns of future regret if they meet again. Hobin uses the opportunity to promote his body spray, which excites viewers. The live stream ends, and the video quickly gains 3 million views, increasing Hobin's subscribers to 190,000. Hobin and Snapper celebrate their success, but they are unaware that this viral video will lead to a tragedy. At McDonald's, Bomi is bothered by a giant man named Mangi Huang, who frequently comes in and tries to flirt with her. Despite Bomi's repeated rejections, Huang keeps thinking about her and becomes a topic of conversation among the workers. Huang is renowned for his strength and expertise in Sireum, a traditional Korean wrestling style. He notices a video of Tahun's defeat and decides that defeating the fighter from the viral hit channel will boost his own channel's popularity. Meanwhile, Snapper worries about Hobin's well-being after their fight with Tahun. Although Hobin appears fine, Snapper is concerned because Hobin's training is intense. Hobin reflects on his experiences with bullying and the impact of his fight with Tahun. He notes that Tahun's loss has made him popular online, but Hobin despises people who benefit from their looks. Elsewhere, Gale faces bullying from a group of girls who mock mock her and film her reactions. They threaten to post the video unless she remains quiet. They also jest about Hobin's fighting skills, believing his moves are ineffective in real fights. When Gail tries to defend herself, the bullies use Hobin's techniques against her. Snapper arrives to help, but is quickly overpowered. Hobin steps in to confront the bullies. Despite his smaller stature compared to them, he tries to act intimidating, which fails to impress the bullies.
Ouch, that's a real burn.
Poor Hobin deserved respect and not more mocking after defeating a significantly stronger guy than him. They challenge Hobin to a fight, questioning his previous victory against Tahun. Just as the bullies prepare to attack Hobin, Kim arrives and scares them off. Later, Hobin and his friends discuss the bullies, who are known as the comedy crew. Snapper feels the need to impress Gail after she is bullied, so he criticizes Hobin for not fighting back when Gail is in danger. Hobin argues back, but promises Gail he will teach her how to handle bullies in the future. That night, Hobin dreams about his encounter with Kim, who advises him to reach out to Bomi, suggesting she deserves to be contacted rather than ignored. Despite feeling embarrassed, Hobin struggles with his decision to call Bomi. Meanwhile, Gayul is excited about Hobin defending her and decides to text him. Hobin thinks she wants to discuss something important, but is surprised when Gayul just wants to chat. At McDonald's, Bomi is uneasy about the giant Huang, who often stares at her. She is relieved when he leaves, but worries he might return. Hobin shows up and orders a parfait, and Bomi, still angry about his long absence, serves him the dessert but remains distant. Hobin notices a note on his hand, reminding him what to say to Bomi, and realizes she found it amusing. Bomi tries to hide her laughter, but Hobin notices her dimples and finds it cute. As they talk, Bomi gets upset when she learns that Hobin's editor is a girl. Hobin tries to explain that Gayul is like a little furry animal to avoid trouble, but Bomi takes it the wrong way, thinking Hobin finds Gayul cute. Gayul appears and also asks if Hobin thinks she's cute. Hobin confirms that Gayul is cute and popular at school, but Gayul says she came for advice on a song. She then attacks Hobin, who uses his get hit without getting hurt technique. Bomi is surprised when Gayul gives her a gift of ginseng from Hobin and says that Hobin wants to apologize properly. Gayul leaves, pretending it's because of a health issue. Bomi decides to text Hobin and they start chatting, but she is soon pranked by the comedy crew, who scares her with a fake snake and asks her to upload her reaction to their channel. Just as Bomi is confused and scared, a car heads toward her, adding to the tension. Hobin watches the comedy crew's videos and grudgingly finds them funny, though Snapper dislikes them because they bully Gail. The crew often apologizes for their pranks, which some victims find funny, and they ask for permission to post the videos. Hobin is surprised that the comedy crew, who seem polite in their videos, has over 700,000 subscribers. He suggests they should also do similar pranks, but Snapper explains that their pranks are well thought out and not just annoying. Despite Snapper's warnings, Hobin decides to try pranking people. The comedy crew shows up and mocks Hobin and Snapper, calling them skinny and taunting them about their fight abilities. They dismiss Hobin and Snapper as losers with only 190,000 subscribers. Hobin, angered, promises they will make their own prank video. Snapper warns that pranking is risky and often scripted to avoid problems. Suddenly, Bomi texts Hobin from the hospital, saying she was nearly run over by a car while being pranked by the comedy crew. They twisted her ankle and asked for permission to post the video. She is upset that the crew was laughing instead of showing concern. Hobin, furious, visits Bomi at the hospital and apologizes for not being there sooner. He texts her, explaining he will leave because Kim is there. Hobin reflects on his unspoken rule about not showing off in front of strong fighters and decides to focus on getting revenge on the comedy crew. Hobin watches Samdok's How to Beat Multiple Opponents video, but doubts its effectiveness. With 3 opponents, Hobin feels he can't win and decides not to fight them. This is the first time he questions a video from Samdok. Instead of fighting, Hobin plans revenge another way. The comedy crew's recent videos have earned nearly $113,000. Hyunsuk tells the crew to be patient with their cut and to ignore Hobin's group. Snapper reveals that the comedy crew stages their pranks. He points out a video where a girl in an elevator appears scared, but the elevator ride is suspiciously long. The crew's content is staged to trick viewers. Snapper explains that new YouTubers often hire actors and script content to make it entertaining, which the comedy crew is likely doing. The police were called on Hyunsuk, but Snapper learns from real officers that they were sent because the comedy crew claimed to have seen a wanted criminal, not because of smoking as the video suggested. Snapper believes they should expose the crew, but Hobin wants a more decisive move, like what they did to Paco. Rumi then proposes a collaboration for a prank video where coffee would be spilled on her shirt. She believes such staged content can attract many views. Hobin refuses, saying he's upset about Bomi being hurt by pranks, and tells Rumi to work with the comedy crew if she wants to fake content. Rumi is upset but eventually joins the comedy crew for the prank. They say they don't usually stage pranks, but agree to do so for more views. Hyunsuk declares their next video will expose Hobin's viral hit channel, claiming Hobin couldn't have defeated Tahun in a real fight. Hyunsuk plans to edit the video to make it look like Hobin staged his fights, believing viewers will easily be deceived. Rumi is shocked by this but tries to leave, only to be stopped by Hyunsuk, who reveals he recorded her mocking viewers. However, Rumi had been live broadcasting everything, revealing Hyunsuk's plan and making a deal with Hobin to expose the crew. Rumi gives Snapper incriminating evidence against Hyunsuk and praises Hobin's resolve. Hobin then confronts the comedy crew, questioning if faking content is their only way to succeed. He's confident he can take them on despite their numbers. Hobin starts a live broadcast called How to Beat Multiple Opponents, using the praying mantis bluff strategy he learned from Samdok's videos. He aims to intimidate the crew by acting menacingly, though he is actually terrified and nervous.
I mean, that's understandable.
True. I will be terrified and nervous too while standing up to a crew of grown men. Afterwards, Snapper notices Hobin's intense demeanor. Hyunsuk doubts Hobin's past victories and notices Hobin seems bigger than before. As the tension builds, Hobin's shoe pops off, revealing the insoles used to make him appear taller. The comedy crew discovers this, putting Hobin in a vulnerable position. Despite his fear, Hobin asks confidently for his shoe back while struggling to maintain his bluff. During a fight with the comedy crew, Hobin loses his cool and gets overexcited, running for his life. This is the first time Hobin fights without relying on a video, using techniques he has learned and realizing how much he has grown. The comedy crew wants him to give up, and Hobin is surprised he hasn't hurt them. Meanwhile, Kim watches Hobin stream with his friends, who call Hobin a shrimp. Kim explains that despite Hobin's small size, his intense training makes him formidable, pointing out that a calf kick would leave most people unable to move. Kim notices something strange. Hyunsuk, the leader, isn't moving despite not being kicked. Logan, Kim's master, explains that Hyunsuk is frozen because of intimidation, a tactic Hobin used effectively. Hobin feels terrified but also excited, realizing that fighting is thrilling. Gaeul appears with a girl from the comedy crew as a hostage, and Hyunsuk uses this as an excuse to leave. The comedy crew exits, and while they are gone, Hobin discovers that fighting has awakened a new excitement in him, making him wonder if he's losing his sanity. The stream of the fight gets over 2.3 million views, leading to the comedy crew's channel being shut down due to the exposure. Hobin's viral hit channel has gained 210,000 subscribers, and things seem to be returning to normal. One night, Bomi walks home alone, and Hobin warns her about the danger. Bomi mentions being stalked before, so Hobin offers to walk her home. They encounter Hwang, a giant who threatens Bomi. Kim arrives and uses techniques from How to Fight Lesson 1 to provoke Hwang, eventually massaging his chest. Hwang questions if Kim is a viral hit ripoff, but then faces Kim's technique called How to Beat a Syrian Wrestler as a Pro Fighter. Hwang easily overpowers Kim, who decides to treat it as a brawl rather than a fight. Hobin, who had been texting Bomi, rushes in but gets captured and slammed into the ground by Hwang. Hwang, a former top Syrian wrestler, is known for his strength and dislike of men who can romantically pursue women.
Known for his strength? More like known for his weight.
Ken, let's not body shame here now. Snapper explains that while Hwang is a monster, Hobin shouldn't be too hard on himself. Snapper notes that Hobin's fear of Hwang, much greater than his fear of the comedy crew, demonstrates the law of fear, where strong fears make smaller fears insignificant. Snapper urges Hobin to let go of his desire for revenge against Hwang, fearing for Hobin's safety. Snapper is relieved that their viewers are unaware of the incident and decides to keep it a secret. However, Gil is horrified when Hwang posts a video titled, "I just beat viral hit," sparking comments demanding a revenge match. Hobin is shocked when Snapper tells him he can't fight Hwang, explaining that he needs to stay alive to continue NewTubing. Snapper does a live stream, claiming the incident was an accident, which sways public opinion in their favor, and Hobin avoids a fight with Hwang. Despite the relief, Hobin is troubled, realizing he's more scared than Bomi, who doesn't mind and just wants Hobin to avoid fighting Hwang. Hobin tries to distract himself with NewTuber videos and finds one by Sand titled How to Defeat a Syrian Fighter as a Regular Person. Sand explains that defeating a grappler is impossible for a beginner, which frustrates Hobin. He feels tightness in his chest and realizes he's addicted to the adrenaline from fighting. Hobin decides to confront Hwang despite Snapper's warnings. He insults Hwang and uses a technique similar to Kim's to provoke him. Viewers fear Hwang might enjoy the challenge. Hobin watches San's video on beating a Syrian wrestler and prepares for the fight. Tahun watches Hobin's stream and doubts Hobin's chances. He recalls that Hobin once asked him to teach Taekwondo's back kick. Tahun demonstrates the kick on Hobin, hitting his padded backpack but causing intense pain, revealing how much stronger Tahun is. Hobin realizes Tahun was holding back during their fight and insists that Taekwondo is the strongest. Despite Snapper's anger over Hobin's reckless decision, he recognizes Hobin might have a plan. Hobin, hoping to experience the adrenaline rush, tries the calf kick against Hwang, but it doesn't work. Despite Snapper's encouragement, the kick has no effect, and Hobin starts to regret his actions. Kicking Hwang feels like hitting a truck, and Hobin begins to panic. He realizes that the fight is not just challenging, but a struggle for survival. Snapper is proud of Hobin's progress, noting how he's managing to keep his eyes on Hwang while running backward. Snapper tells viewers this is part of Hobin's plan, and that the kicks will work when Hwang starts running. However, a viewer points out that Syrian wrestlers are trained to run on sand and are very fast. Hwang reveals he runs 30 kilometers daily and is incredibly quick. Hobin tries to exploit Hwang's vulnerability by punching him in the face, but it fails. He then attempts a baseball choke, but Hwang's thick neck makes it ineffective. When Hwang punishes Hobin for grabbing his head, Hobin thinks it's a weakness, so he punches Hwang's head, but this only prompts Hwang to use his flashy front suplex move. Snapper is worried because this fight is unlike Hobin's previous ones. Regular people can't beat Syrian wrestlers, and Hobin can't be frustrated about it. Everyone is horrified when Hwang grabs something from Hobin, and viewers think he's ripped out Hobin's spine. It's actually a protective device which Hobin no longer has. Snapper begs Hobin to run away, but Hobin remembers Tahun's advice that strikers should be stronger than grapplers. Tahun is watching the stream and recalls his own frustration with his dojo, which was becoming more of a daycare rather than a place for combat training. His sensei promised that if Tahun won a tournament, he would try to keep Taekwondo alive. Tahun vowed to show that Taekwondo was the best. He trained Hobin in Taekwondo, including practicing the back kick while running backward. Despite feeling intimidated by Tahun's methods, Hobin learns to aim for the solar plexus. In the present, Hobin lands the back kick, but it doesn't feel right. He realizes he hit Hwang below the belt. Snapper says it's acceptable in a street fight and is amazed by the 30,000 viewers watching the live stream. Snapper believes Hobin now has the upper hand, but he is mistaken as Hwang lifts Hobin effortlessly.
Well, it will be fun to see how many of Hobin's bones will end up broken this time around.
I sure hope it won't be his backbone. Hobin is stunned that his kick had no effect, and Snapper worries about the channel's future if Hobin loses in front of so many viewers. Hwang prepares for another suplex, and Hobin, desperate without his protection device, grabs onto something and surprisingly pulls off Hwang's hair. The live chat goes silent, with both fighters shocked. Later, Hobin and Hwang sit together, and Hobin apologizes. Hwang shares that he fought hard to become a fighter to attract girls, but found that only attractive fighters succeed. He feels desperate to find a girlfriend before losing all his hair and gets impatient with his situation. Hwang admits he started NewTubing to find a girlfriend and has been taking hair growth supplements. He explains his fight with Kim was a misunderstanding because he thought Kim was stalking Bomi. Despite being told there are better ways to attract girls, Hwang only trusts advice from a dating guru with extensive experience. Hobin and Snapper see that Hwang isn't a bad person and empathize with him. Hwang asks if Hobin thinks he'll ever get a girlfriend. Hobin, relating to Hwang's struggles, tears up and reassures him. The three of them end up crying together. Hwang decides to quit NewTubing, but Hobin shows him that viewers are supporting him and believe he can achieve his dream. Encouraged, Hwang continues with NewTubing, and the stream ends successfully. Kim and Bomi are pleased, and Gayul edits the video, which garners 3 million views. The viral hit channel now has 2.1 million subscribers, and Snapper feels proud of its fame. Hobin enjoys financial success and daily chats with Bomi. His mother is curious about his well-being and financial situation. Hobin explains that he has a well-paying part-time job, but avoids mentioning that he makes money from fighting. His mother hopes to join him at work one day. Hobin learns from a nurse that a donor for his mother has been found, and her surgery will happen soon. This news means she might no longer need dialysis. Overjoyed, Hobin feels his life is going well. He shares the good news with his friends and expresses his happiness, realizing that he is not alone anymore. Seeing him happy, Hobin's friends ultimately feel happy as well, indicating the strong bond in their friendship.
Now this is one good ending to the story. This anime was really raw and it was surprisingly realistic as well with the whole streaming stuff.
I had fun. I just wish there were more female characters involved that I could relate to.
Anyways guys, this is the end of the video. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this anime? And make sure you click the like button and subscribe for more videos like this. Now I am really sounding like those viral hit kids.
See you next time!